My girlfriend's mom asked why we weren't engaged yet. She said, "I'm not ready to close doors. What if someone better comes along?" I was coming upstairs with groceries and heard everything. I left the groceries and her house key on the counter. Someone better did come along, her sister. So, this happened a year ago, but I'm only now at the point where I can talk about it without getting pissed off. Buckle up. It's a wild ride. Me, 33M, and Rachel, 30F, had been dating for just over 3 years. We met through mutual friends at a brewery opening. Hit it off immediately. She was smart, funny, had her life together. I felt like I'd lucked out. We had separate apartments, but spent 4 to 5 nights a week together. Usually at her place, since it was closer to both our jobs. I kept some clothes and basic necessities there, and she had a drawer at my place. We each had keys to the other's apartment. Not officially living together, but close. Fast forward to last December. Things were serious between us. We spent most nights at each other's places, had met each other's families, and had the future talk multiple times. I was thinking about proposing in the spring. Rachel's family lived about an hour outside the city. Her mom, Carol, was a bit of a busybody, but generally nice to me. Her younger sister, Jess, 27, was cool, outdoorsy type, personal trainer, always up for a good conversation. I'd met Jess many times at family gatherings, but we'd never really hung out, just the two of us. Their dad passed away when they were teens, so they were a tight-knit trio. That weekend, we were staying at Rachel's mom's place for her mom's birthday. Rachel had forgotten some specific ingredients for the birthday dinner she wanted to make, so I volunteered to go get them. It was snowing, and the nearest decent grocery store was 15 minutes away. I spent about 40 minutes getting everything on Rachel's list, plus I grabbed some flowers for Carol since it was her birthday. I drove back, parked in the driveway, and headed inside with 4 bags of groceries. Their house has this weird split-level entry where you come in through the garage, go up a few steps, and you're in the kitchen. The living room is right off the kitchen, with no real separation. I had just opened the door from the garage and was halfway up the steps when I heard Carol's voice. "So when is Matt going to propose? You two have been together forever." I paused, curious about Rachel's answer. Not in a creepy way, just interested in what she'd say. "Mom, seriously? Not this again. What? You're not getting any younger. He's a good man, stable job, good with money, treats you well." "Yeah, Matt's great, but..." Then came the words that changed everything. "I'm not ready to close doors, you know? What if someone better comes along? Matt's a good guy, but I don't know if he's my forever guy." I froze on those steps, grocery bags suddenly feeling like they weighed 1,000 pounds each. Carol responded, "That's a terrible way to think, Rachel. You can't keep people as backups." "I'm not saying he's a backup. I don't know. He's safe, dependable. But sometimes I wonder if there's more excitement out there." That was enough for me. I quietly set the grocery bags down on the kitchen counter. The flowers for Carol, which I placed beside the groceries, with the little happy birthday card still attached. My key to Rachel's apartment that I always kept on a separate ring. Then I turned around, went back to my car, and drove to a hotel about 20 minutes away. I didn't say a word, just left. My phone blew up about 20 minutes later. First texts, then calls. "Where are you? Did you just drop the groceries and leave? What's going on? Why aren't you answering?" I texted back once, "I heard what you said to your mom. We're done. I'll be by next week to get my things from your place when you're at work." Then I muted her notifications. Ordered room service. Had a whiskey. Tried to process. 3 years. 3 years I'd invested in someone who saw me as a safe option while she waited for someone better. No thanks. The next morning, I had 37 missed calls and a novel's worth of texts. Rachel insisting I misunderstood. That she loved me. That she was just dealing with her mom's pressure. Every excuse in the book. I didn't respond to any of it. Instead, I went back to my own apartment. Thankfully, I'd kept it even though I spent most nights at Rachel's, and tried to clear my head. The day after that, I called her sister Jess. "Hey, this is awkward, but I need a favor. I heard Rachel telling your mom yesterday that she's keeping her options open in case someone better than me comes along. We're done. Can you let me know when she'll be at work next week so I can get my stuff from her apartment?" Silence on the line. Then, "She actually said that?" What a stupid thing to do. Yeah, she works Tuesday 9-5. I can even help you get your stuff if you want. That's surprisingly kind of you. Look, I love my sister, but what she said was awful, and I've always thought you were a good guy. You don't deserve that. Thanks, Jess, I appreciate it. No problem. For what it's worth, I think she's an idiot. Tuesday came and I went to Rachel's apartment with some buddies to get my stuff. Wasn't much, some clothes, electronics, a few books. I left behind anything I'd given her as gifts. I'm not petty. As we were finishing up, there was a knock at the door. It was Jess. Thought you might need help, she said. And I wanted to check on you. Rachel's been a mess. Not my problem anymore, I replied, continuing to pack. Can't say I blame you. I'd have done the same thing. After we finished, she suggested grabbing lunch. I hesitated but figured why not. We went to a casual place nearby. Talked for almost 2 hours, not about Rachel but about everything else. Books, hiking trails, best pizza in the city. It was surprisingly easy. At the end, Jess asked if I wanted to join her and some friends for a hike that weekend. Again, I thought, why not? Needed to stay busy anyway. That hike led to another. Then rock climbing. Then a concert. Just as friends, hanging out in groups. No pressure, no expectations, just enjoying each other's company. I'll admit, I had some reservations about spending time with my ex's sister. It wasn't exactly conventional, but Jess and I had always gotten along, and now I was seeing different sides of her. Her determination on tough hiking trails, her patience helping newcomers at the climbing gym, her encyclopedic knowledge of indie bands. We had more in common than I'd realized during all those family gatherings. Meanwhile, Rachel was relentless, showing up at my apartment. I had to tell my building's security not to let her up, calling from different numbers, sending emails. She even got her mom to call me once, which was awkward as hell. Matt, she made a mistake. She loves you. She's devastated. Carol, with all due respect, she didn't make a mistake. She was honest about how she feels when she thought I couldn't hear. That's who she really is. People say stupid things they don't mean. I appreciate the call, but this isn't up for discussion. Take care. About 3 months after the breakup, Jess and I were grabbing coffee after a morning run when something shifted. Can't explain it exactly, but suddenly I wasn't seeing her as Rachel's sister anymore. She was just Jess. Funny, straightforward, genuine Jess. I must have been staring because she asked, "What, do I have something on my face?" No, would it be weird if I asked you to dinner? Like an actual date? She considered it for a moment. Probably. Definitely for Rachel, but I don't care if you don't. We talked seriously about what it might mean for her relationship with Rachel, with Carol, the whole family dynamic. This wasn't just about us. But at the end of that conversation, we both felt it was worth exploring. That Friday, we had our first official date. Nice restaurant, great conversation, that electric feeling of something new, but somehow familiar at the same time. When I walked her to her car, she said, "You know this is gonna cause drama, right?" "Probably," I admitted. "Worth it, though." She smiled, "Definitely worth it." We decided not to hide, but not to flaunt it either. Just live our lives. If Rachel found out, she found out. It took exactly 3 weeks. I was at my place making dinner when my phone rang. Rachel's number. I'd unblocked her a few weeks back when the constant attempts to contact me had finally slowed. Against my better judgment, I answered, "You're dating my sister?" "My sister?" She was screaming so loud I had to hold the phone away from my ear. "Hello to you too, Rachel. How could you do this to me? It's been what, 5 minutes? And you're already moving on with Jess of all people. It's been over 3 months, Rachel, and yes, Jess and I are seeing each other. This is the most pathetic revenge play I've ever seen. You're just trying to hurt me. Not everything is about you. Jess and I enjoy each other's company. It has nothing to do with you." Bull. You're using her to get back at me. Think what you want. I don't owe you explanations anymore. Mom is furious. This is tearing our family apart. Again, not my problem. You should have thought about consequences before deciding I wasn't good enough, but keeping me around anyway. She broke down crying then. Told me she made a horrible mistake, that she did want to marry me, that she'd been afraid of commitment but realized too late what she had. For a fleeting second, I felt a twinge of something. Not regret, exactly. Maybe nostalgia for what I thought we had. But it passed quickly. "Rachel, I'm hanging up now. Please don't call again." "You're only dating Jess to hurt me," she yelled as I ended the call. That night, I told Jess about the call. She wasn't surprised. She called me too, said I betrayed her, that I'd always been jealous of her. "Are you okay?" I asked. "Yeah, Mom's pretty upset though, says we're putting her in an impossible position." "Do you want to stop seeing each other?" She looked me directly in the eyes. "Not a chance." The next few months were challenging for Jess. Her relationship with Rachel was effectively frozen, and Carol was caught in the middle, trying to maintain relationships with both daughters. Family gatherings were out of the question. Jess missed the usual family Christmas celebration, spending it with me and my family instead. She put on a brave face, but I knew it hurt her. We had many conversations about whether our relationship was worth the family strain. Jess insisted it was, but I worried about the long-term impact. These weren't just my ex's relatives. They were Jess's family, her only close family since her dad passed. The last thing I wanted was to come between them permanently. Here's the thing, I never set out for revenge, never planned to date Jess. It just happened. And it turns out, sometimes the someone better that comes along isn't for the person expecting it. The irony isn't lost on me. Rachel was keeping her options open in case someone better came along for her. Instead, someone better came along for me. Life's funny that way. Update. 6 months later. 9 months since the grocery store incident, and I figured I'd give you guys a quick update since the last post got so much attention. Jess and I are still together and things are great. Meeting her through Rachel meant we kind of skipped the whole getting to know each other's backgrounds phase of dating. We jumped straight into the deep stuff, which has been refreshing. The family situation has slowly improved. Carol started with occasional one-on-one lunches with Jess, carefully avoiding mention of Rachel. Then came a few dinners where I was included. It was awkward at first, but Carol eventually told us, "I can't pretend to understand how this all happened, but I can see you two are good together." Rachel has finally stopped trying to contact either of us. Last we heard, she moved to Seattle for a job opportunity. Probably for the best, gives everyone some breathing room. Carol's come around completely. She pulled me aside at a family dinner last weekend and said something that stuck with me. "Sometimes things don't work out the way we plan, but they work out the way they should." Wise woman, when she's not putting pressure on her daughters to get married. The "am I dating her to get back at Rachel" question still comes up occasionally, usually from people who don't know the full story. The answer is and always has been no. Did it start in an unconventional way? Absolutely. But what Jess and I have built is its own thing, separate from the past. Some mutual friends took Rachel's side, which was expected. Our closest friends from before the relationship, my college buddies, Jess's training partners from the gym, stood by us. The friends we'd made as couples with Rachel naturally drifted away. That's just how these things go. Jess and I are taking a trip to Yellowstone next month, her first time there, my third. She's already planned out all the hikes she wants to do. Her enthusiasm for life is contagious. I ran into Rachel's old roommate at a coffee shop last week. She mentioned that Rachel had told her about seeing us together on social media. According to the roommate, Rachel said, "They actually look happy. Like, genuinely happy." That's probably the closest to closure we'll ever get. So that's where things stand. Not the conventional path to finding someone, but I'm grateful for how it turned out. Sometimes you have to go through the wrong relationship to find the right one. And sometimes, the right one was closer than you thought. Final update, 1 year later. The 1-year mark seemed like a good time for a final update on this saga. Jess and I moved in together last month. It was a big step, especially given how things started, but it felt right. We found a place equidistant from both our jobs with a spare room for a home gym, her request, and office space, mine. Rachel is engaged. Plot twist, right? Met some tech guy in Seattle and got engaged after 6 months. Carol showed us the announcement when we were over for dinner. Rachel looked happy. I'm genuinely glad for her. No hard feelings at this point, just acknowledgement that we weren't right for each other. The family dynamics have settled into a new normal. Holiday dinners were awkward at first, but now they're just normal. Carol's even started making jokes about how she finally got Matt as a son-in-law, just through a different daughter. Too soon, Carol. Too soon. Jess and I aren't in any rush. We're enjoying building our life together day by day. When you know, but you also know when to take your time. Looking back at that moment on the stairs with the groceries, I still can't believe how quickly everything changed. One minute, I was planning a future with someone who saw me as a placeholder, and the next, I was walking away. It was the hardest and easiest decision I've ever made. I've thought a lot about what I would have done differently, and the answer is nothing. Not a single thing. If I hadn't overheard that conversation, I might have proposed to Rachel. Might have spent years with someone who was always looking over my shoulder for something better. Instead, I found someone who looks at me and thinks, this is exactly who I want. That grocery trip cost me a relationship, but it saved me from a marriage that would have been built on a lie. And somehow, through all the chaos and hurt feelings, it led me to where I was supposed to be all along. Sometimes the best revenge isn't revenge at all. It's just living well.